One of the worst parts about the winter is walking into a grocery store looking for tomatoes and all you find are those really light pink, not juicy, unripe tomatoes that are all over the grocery store. Nothing good. So my favorite way to enjoy tomatoes in the winter is to roast them, because you really don't need to worry about the tomatoes being super ripe and juicy, because the roasting will essentially just bring them back to life. I'm excited to show you my favorite trick on how to make the best roasted tomatoes ever. It starts off with Campari tomatoes, the stars of the show. If you haven't heard of Campari tomatoes, they're actually pretty common in the grocery store. They're kind of like a little bigger than a cherry tomato, but they're not as big as those big vine tomatoes. And they're really nice and meaty and just delicious for roasting. I'm going to go ahead and cut these babies in half, just like that, and place them on a baking sheet, face side up. So if you're not sure how to use roasted tomatoes, I can give you like a million ways to use roasted tomatoes. Some of my favorites on salads, antipasto boards. If you haven't tried roasted tomatoes on a sandwich, you're missing out. Pasta, honestly, just alone. Final one. I wish I could fit more on this baking sheet because I'm gonna be using them for days and days. They're just too good. So next up, just a little olive oil. You wanna try to get a nice zhuzh on each tomato. It doesn't need to be a lot, but you do wanna make sure the olive oil touches each tomato. And then, I swear, we're almost done with this recipe. You just choose your herb of choice. So I have a little bit of oregano. I like to use dried herbs on my roasted tomatoes. I find that it comes out a little better than using fresh herbs, just because it won't burn in the oven. But you can also use rosemary, thyme, herbes de Provence, which is a nice blend, a little bit of dried basil, whatever you want. They're ready for the oven. How fast is that? So cool. So we're gonna pop them in the oven at 250 degrees for 2 hours. It seems like a long time, but you don't need to touch them at all. Just let them go for 2 hours. It's key to making sure that you retain the moisture in the tomatoes and that they don't dry out on the baking sheet. You wanna salt them after they come out of the oven too, so that they retain all those juices and they come out nice and plump. See you in 2 hours. I grace you with my presence. Ho 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 ho. Aren't I funny? My favorite way to eat these, with a fork. I honestly just want to stack them all on each other and eat them all at once. This one is calling my name. Holy cow. It explodes in your mouth. It honestly tastes like a bite of pizza in a lot of ways, in the best way possible. The intensity, the flavor. Check these out on tastefullygrace.com. You won't regret it. Wee, wee. What is going on? All I wanted to do is stay.